Alright, what's going on, guys? So, on this episode of Project Miata, I'm going to be ripping the AC and the power steering out. I'm going to be depowering the steering rack. So, my reason for doing this is the AC compressor's going bad. It still works, but every time I start up the vehicle, there's a nasty belt squeal. And I know it's not the belt because I've tested it and because it's a new belt. So, I'm just going to take those out, say race car shit like weight reduction and whatnot. So just to save some time, I didn't film taking off the bumper. I took off the crossover tube just so it'd be easier to get some things on here. So some other things I'm gonna need for this as far as the AC goes. Here is a duct for, I'm gonna take out the evaporator box underneath the dash and replace it with this so my heat still works. And then I just got some plugs for the firewall once I take the AC lines out. So yeah. Alright, so what this duct is for under the dashboard on the passenger side, there is, I don't know how well I'm able to see it, but right there, that box there, it's the evaporator box. Basically, that's where the it drains from the AC. So once we rip that out, we're going to be putting this duct on so my heat works just the same. Okay, so I took the glove box off just so I could show this better and just so I could reach it better. So pretty much, here's the evaporator box. There's a drain down there. That's what I have the one plug for, so it's gonna plug. I don't know what I can show you, but yeah, right there. So it'll be a plug for the firewall. And then, so it looks like to get this off, there's these clamps. One's a square, the other one's a triangle. It looks like there's a plastic clip holding on each side. So once I get those out, I'll be able to get the new one in, and then I'll put the glove box back on, and that'll be this part of it. Alright guys, so I couldn't get the evaporator box out yet. I think it's because one side is actually attached to one of these AC lines. So I'm going to take this off and then see if it'll come out. If not, I'm just going to finish removing the lines, the condenser, whatever this is, and the compressor. And then we'll go from there. So I'm going to start by, I don't know which order way I should do this, but I'm just going to start out by taking these lines and then taking off the condenser. Alright, so I ended up taking out pretty much the rest of the intake just so I could get to this better. I started unhooking lines from the power steering pump, so this is the first thing I'm going to rip out. And then once this is out, I'll be able to get to the AC compressor, and then I'll rip that out. But for this, so it looks like there's one bolt here. Looks like there's a bracket for 1, 2 there. There's a line right there. It looks like the reservoir is right here. Then the line's running to the power steering rack, which I'm gonna have to pull after. But I'm just gonna get the pump out first, and then worry about the lines. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is pull the power steering rack. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this out. Alright, so I went ahead and got the power steering pump off. I didn't really prepare for the fluid draining, so that was kind of my bad. So I made a mess all over the fucking place. But anyways, that's off. So now I just gotta figure out how to get this bracket off, and then we shall be golden. Alright, now for the fluid reservoir itself, there's one bolt down there, and then another one down here, both 10 mils. And since those are connected, this will come right off. Oh, it looks like there's a zip tie holding that line on. So once I get that zip tie off, this will come out, and then we'll go from there. Alright, now that the evaporator box is out, the intake duct goes right under here, and then I got 2 grommets for the holes in the firewall. Alright, now that I got the air duct in, I can go ahead and put the glove box back in, and that should be as far as what I need to do for inside the car. Alright, so somewhere along filming, I kind of got really into it and stopped really recording a bunch of what's going on. So, right now, I have power steering pump out, the AC condenser out, all the AC lines, the compressor, the dryer. So now all I gotta do is I gotta get the power steering rack off. I'm gonna have my buddy Nate depower it for me. Now once I get it back in, we're all good to reassemble, and then she'll be good to drive. Here's like a bunch of shit that came out upon ripping everything out. There's the old evaporator box, there's the AC compressor, the dryer, the condenser, the power steering pump, reservoir, power steering line, and there's a bunch of AC lines over there. So overall, looking good. This condenser here, or compressor itself, is fucking heavy, so hopefully I'm gonna save a bit of weight from this, and hopefully once I get the rack back in, it'll feel a lot better. Okay, so by far the biggest pain in the ass of this process was taking out this fucking steering rack. So to take it out, there's 4 bolts on the subframe, and then the tie rod ends, which were a fucking pain in the ass to get off. And then right here on the pinion, it connects to the fucking U-joint on the steering column. That was a pain in the ass to get off. I had to fucking beat the shit out of this, but I just got this back from my buddy Nate. He depowered it, so what he did was take apart the rack, cut out the seals, drain the fluid, then he took all those fittings and put blob welds in them, so cover those up. So now it's time to reassemble. I just got to get the rack back in the car, put coolant in it, and then put the intake, and then she'll be done. Alright, so now I got the steering rack back in. It definitely went a lot easier than it came out, along with the new tie rods in. So we're looking good here. Gonna have to get an alignment, but that's alright. So one time ago, I bought a 3-piece radiator hose kit for this. Never actually put this one on there, so I'm gonna put that right there. Then once that's on, I believe the only thing I have to put back on is actually the intake. So yeah, shouldn't be too much longer till she's done. Alright, so I just got all the intake stuff back on. Although I'm kind of pissed because where the fuck did it go? The vacuum line, it split on the end here, the part that goes in the valve cover. So I tried cutting it off to see if I could reuse it, and it just split more. So car's not gonna be done tonight. I'm gonna have to go get a new one, but that's really not a big deal. It won't be expensive. But yeah, as of right now, I just gotta reattach my horn over there, and then fill the radiator, but I gotta go get coolant for that too. So I'm gonna throw the bumper on, and that should be it. Alright, so it took a while, but finally fucking done. So yeah, sorry if the video was scattered. You know, I kind of got into it and kind of lost step by step what I was doing. Sorry if I didn't show anything. But that's the basic overview of if you wanted to delete your AC and power steering. Biggest pain in the ass was definitely getting that fucking rack out. I had to beat the fucking shit out of it. But yeah, so I'm just gotta put it on the ground and it's finally done. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thank you.